Right, so this is going to be a really interesting video. So behind me here I've got this W204 C63 AMG coupe, right? It's a high mileage car, currently the highest mileage car advertised. I think it's about 90,000 miles. This car has done, you know, I'm not going to tell you how many miles this car's done just yet. I'll tell you that in a sec. We are going to make this video a little bit more interesting shortly as well, because I've actually bought another car that I'm going to put up against this car. We'll introduce you to that shortly, and it is looking like it is about to rain. So if it does rain, it'll get even more interesting. Get your words out, Cal. It'll get even more interesting, and if I can manage to get my words out, that'd be good as well. So yeah, let's get into some cinematics, do a little intro, and I'll be with you in a sec. Here we go then, C63 AMG coupe, facelift car. Pretty sure all of the coupes were facelifts. Obviously they're a 6.2 naturally aspirated V8 engine under the bonnet. They sound absolutely amazing. Just a little reminder, here we go. Yep. The ground did just rattle when I revved up that engine. Little pinches through the bonnet there, like that as a little feature. Downfalls with these cars, I mention it all the time, there's no rear arches. Something else that I forgot to mention is that they don't actually have an LSD from factory either. Kind of put me off of them before I drove one, and then when I drove one for the first time ever, I've loved them ever since. They are absolutely amazing. Probably one of my most favourite cars of all times, and I'm adamant that these cars are going to slowly begin to creep up in value at some point soon, because you will never see a car on the planet ever manufactured of this size with an engine of that size under the bonnet. It's just completely abnormal. I remember when they come out, I remember thinking, how the hell have they got a 6.2 litre V8 in a little saloon, or a coupe in this case? How have they done that? How is that even possible? And it is possible. Let's quickly get under the bonnet. Where's the bonnet latch, Cal? There it is. I've left it running, by the way, to get it warm, because we are going to go for a little drive in it in a sec. Where are we? Hello, hello. There we go, look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it? You wouldn't know this is done high mileage. In fact, let's talk about the mileage, shall we? Do you know what, before we talk about the mileage, actually, let's talk about the next car that I'm about to bring in to this video. Basically, so this car here is obviously, it's a coupe. It's a facelift, right? It's a completely stock car, so 450 brake horsepower from factory. It ain't been tampered with, and yeah, I just thought it'd be quite cool if we could get like maybe a tuned saloon pre-facelift, so we can compare the two. That'd be good, wouldn't it? I'll tell you what, just stay there a sec, yeah? I'll be back in a minute. That is perfect, isn't it? So yesterday, not only did I buy one C63 AMG, but I bought a second one as well, and it's a perfect opportunity for a video, because that one there is a pre-facelift car. It is a saloon, and it has been tuned, stage 2 tuned by MSL. It's running apparently about 540 brake horsepower. What a mad coincidence, and it is also a silver car with black wheels, exactly like the coupe over there. So pre-facelift cars got slightly different interiors. Let me quickly show you that. The seats on the saloons are definitely nicer, without a doubt. You go back to the seats on the coupes. Headrests are still part of the seat like they are on the saloons, but they're just not quite as nice as they are in the saloon, I don't think. Let me know your thoughts on that. Saloon seats or coupe seats, let me know in the comments below. But the dashboards you can see here, it's just not as attractive on the saloons. They've done a great job of the facelift dashboards and the steering wheel. So if we look over here, go again, look at that, they've got the silver trim through the middle. The screen is located there, but it's a fixed screen rather than a pop-up screen on this one here. And let's see if it's even got a screen. Let's just double check. Yeah, cool feature. Got tunes on the go. Both cars have got heated seats, and sunroof, this one's got a sunroof, and this one has a pan roof, which I've already mentioned. Mileage, that's what you want to know. I've left you hanging for so long with this mileage situation. Let's go over here. This one does need a clean, by the way, but ignore that. This one's done 94,800 miles, and then this one is the high mileage one out of the two, especially considering it's 4 years newer than that one. That's an 08 plate, by the way. This car has done okay, see how it's a lot more modern in there, isn't it? This car has done 144,300 miles, so very high mileage in comparison. But do you know what? Like, I'm sure you lot would have been guessing what you thought the mileage was on that car on the build up to me revealing it. It don't look like it's done that many miles. It is it's a proper tidy car, a very, very tidy car considering the mileage. So this video was going to be dominantly about this car, but then obviously this one arrived, so I thought, yeah, I need to get this car on the channel as well. I don't actually have any evidence that this car's been tuned, so I'm not going to tell you that it's definitely been tuned. But what we will do is do draggy times in that car, 20 to 70 mile an hour, and then head out in that car after and compare the two, see how they compare, see how they drive, see how they drive in comparison to each other, and see if a facelift is really worth all that extra money. And by the way, we ain't even talked about money, have we? So let me close them doors. That's annoying me a little bit. That's the rain coming as well now. I have to get these sunroofs closed shortly. Yeah, so value wise, facelift coupes start at about 20 grand, pre-facelift saloons start at about 15 grand, so they're about 5 grand apart. Because these cars are both done quite high-ish mileage, I say high-ish because when I say that I mean that car, but high mileage, they're both probably worth a little bit less than that in comparison to what else is on the market at the minute. All right, so that gives you a rough idea on values. Let's now jump out in the coupe. Do you know what, before we go, let's do a quick sound check. To me they sound very similar, but through the camera we'll see. All right, so I'll jump in this one first. All right, now this one. Now what's really strange is this one's actually got a soft limiter, whereas that one hasn't. So we was allowed to go further around the rev range on that one. But they did both sound bloody amazing, didn't they? So let's get out for a drive in this one now, yeah? These cars are just bloody savage. Now let's quickly talk about the spec on this car. This has got, just off the top of my head, it's got heated seats, which I think I just mentioned, sat nav, pan roof, which I've mentioned loads, and a reverse camera, right, which is all pretty vital stuff, I would say. If I was buying one, I think I would personally want all of those spec options. Now, rear wheel drive, look, back end's just a battle. Now I don't know if this car has been tuned. I've got no paperwork. I've just had a quick flick through the paperwork to see if it's stage 1. It might have had a remap at some point in its life. I don't actually know. There is no evidence there, so I can't say it's been tuned. So I am sort of talking about this car like it's stock, but to me it does feel a bit quicker than I remember these cars feeling. So I can't adamantly say this car hasn't been tuned. So we are going to do draggy time shortly, just to compare the two. Will there be loads of difference? I'm actually impressed that these cars are able to reach as much as 540 brake horsepower with a downpipes and a remap. Like that's absolutely mad for a naturally aspirated car. So again, the word savage just sprung to mind. Now, one thing I do want to say is if you are intending on buying a C63 AMG of this era, don't expect it to be good on fuel, right? Apparently, during the process of selling these cars, like the people that sold them to us, I didn't actually deal with those guys, but they are both my subscribers, so shout out to everyone that comes to us to sell their cars. I am very grateful that so many of you come to us to sell your cars and buy cars from us. It's absolutely brilliant. It gives me content and it gives me great stock. But that aside, both of the guys that sold these cars to us yesterday, apparently in conversation, did mention that these cars are absolutely terrible on fuel, and they are. I've done a whole post about it when I was daily driving one about a year ago. That car that I had secondary cat delete, and that was about it. I think it didn't have any mods other than that, and it would get about 150 miles out of a full tank. So not great economy at all, but you're an idiot if you think you're going to get great economy out of a 6.2 litre V8 engine. cars, yeah? And do you know what? When you drive these cars, you constantly feel encouraged to flat the throttle and listen to that sound, because it's just so bloody exciting. Now, the guy that owned the other one, he literally had that car for a few weeks. It's had about 11 owners, so that is not a great example of a C63, but these cars are both entry-level cars, which I talk about a lot. They're both low budget, entry-level. Obviously, the more money you spend, the better car you get, but with that one in particular, that is literally, other than if you was to get a categorized one, that's literally as low budget of a C63 as you could possibly get. All right, so we will go out on that in a sec, but what we will do first is attempt, it has just started to rain, we'll attempt to do draggy times in this one. All right, 3, 2, 1. Traction is a massive issue. Traction is going to be a bit of a problem today, surprisingly. Damp roads with these cars, yeah, it's not a great combination, but I will try a few runs. We did do 4.38 seconds, 20 to 70 mile an hour in my black C63 AMG, so we've already got a good indicator anyway, but it'll be good to see if I can match that time in this car today. Let's do a couple more runs. What I'll do this time is I'll try it in auto mode rather than manually shifting, all right? Flat on the throttle. Nah. Oh, it picked up all right then. It went straight up second gear, found traction and bolted off. That was pretty good. Maybe that's a better way to do it. These cars, bloody brilliant. So I have just done a successful run and I smashed it. I've done 20 to 70 mile an hour in 4.40 seconds. So that was a really good time considering the conditions. Almost as quick as the 4.38 that I've done in my black one a year ago, but I'm happy with that. Let's now go see how quickly we can do it in the tuned saloon one. Right, this is all completely off the cuff, guys. I've not driven with either one of these cars prior to filming this video, which just makes it a bit more interesting, I suppose. So, pre-facelift car, let's just turn that radio down a little bit. Visually, it's definitely not as attractive. I said that earlier on in the video, it's definitely not as attractive in here. But you know what, when you sit in here, you actually don't care, and I say that a lot in pre-facelift cars. When you get in there, this car feels all right, man. The steering wheel is definitely not as good looking as the facelift steering wheel. Like, definitely not as good looking as the facelift steering wheel. Hold on, there's a horse here. This car is like the worst car to drive past a horse in. Slowly, Cal, slowly. But to sit in here and to drive and to hold the steering wheel, it's a wicked steering wheel to feel, and these seats are without a doubt better, more comfortable, they hold you better, they look better than the seats in the coupe. All right, summary done there. These seats are definitely better. So whatever your opinions are in the comments, I'm gonna go against the people that think them seats are better, because right now I feel so much more comfortable in this car. Now this car obviously has done 50,000 miles less than that car, and it feels bloody solid despite all the dust and the dirt, and it just needs a good old valet. It does feel absolutely solid. Now I've not yet put my foot down in it, so let's the drive select modes on this, or the buttons of the functionality to do it, is slightly different. It's just literally a button in this car, whereas on that car it's like a turny wheel, and I think you've got more settings on that. You've got sport and sport plus, whereas this you've got comfort, sport and manual. So if we put it in manual and then turn the traction control completely off, there we go, we are in manual first gear. It feels, this car definitely feels quicker. It definitely feels quicker. The funny thing with these cars is they give you a different level of, like, they just feel like they're going absolutely mental fast. So I think if anyone sat in the passenger seat of this car now, many people would say, do you know what, that's the fastest car experience I've ever had in my life. But they are only, I say only 450 brake. This one's done apparently 540, so it's quite a lot of power, but they just feel so much quicker than they are. You can see that on draggy times. You look on my draggy leaderboard, you can see that a stage 2 Audi S3 done 20 to 70 mile an hour quicker than my C63 AMG did. That's amazing, because if you sat in the stage 2 Audi S3, don't get me wrong, they feel quick, but these cars just feel bloody ridiculous. So yeah, let's now see how quickly this compares from 20 to 70 miles an hour to the stock, I'm saying stock, we don't know stock, coupe C63, yeah? Right then, see how this one gets on. It definitely feels quicker. One thing I would say is this car's got Michelin PS4 S tyres on it. I think these are 275 30/19s, whereas the other car's got Continentals on it, which are 255 30/19s. So they're slightly narrower. They're Continentals, which ain't as great an all-weather tyre, I wouldn't say, as a Michelin. And yeah, it does seem to be putting down the power better than the other car. And bear in mind, this car, it is definitely more power as well, so that's quite impressive. Do another one with the window down a little bit. 3, 2, 1. These cars, they're just, I've got the back windows open, by the way, purposely, just to highlight the sound a little bit better. No, there's a green M4 there. Is it? No, it's not an M4. It's a C63 cow. Now listen to that. That engine with this body shape is the most special setup on the road, I think. It's just, listen to them downshifts. So yeah, we can now conclude, is this car quicker than the other car? Has this car been tuned? Because obviously I've been down it most of the way through this video until I got in the driver's seat of it. Going back to something that I always say, please keep hold of your bloody paperwork. When you get stuff done to your car, even if you have to be organised, just stuff it in your glove box. It's so valuable for when you come to selling it. This car has got no paperwork to show that it's been tuned. I mean, we've took the guy's word for it, it's been tuned. It clearly has been tuned, because I've just done draggy times on it and it has beat the other car, but we'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, keep your paperwork, because this car here, I've kind of looked at it and I thought, you know, it seems a bit ropey. It's got 12 owners, it's on 90,000 miles, it looks a bit unloved, it's dirty, it's got no paperwork, and it's apparently been tuned. It's got these big spaces on the rear wheels, which I think look a bit too spaced out, but you know what, this car is actually so much better than I expected it would be. Now if we go to draggy times, the other car had done it in, I can't remember, I'll put it on the screen now. This car has done it a lot quicker than that car. This has done it in 4.08 seconds, which is absolutely amazing. Now I did actually do a run prior to that at 4.09 seconds, and I looked at that and I thought, wow, but I will continue to try and beat it, and I did, man. 4.08 seconds. I think that puts it just above the Audi S3, the stage 2 tune car, which is about 390, 400 brake horsepower, which is mad really that it ain't quicker than that car, but considering this is a naturally aspirated engine, that is a bloody good time. So to conclude this whole C63 AMG subject, if these cars are about £5 apart in value, I think that's a point worth making. I don't know exactly what we're going to be advertising these cars for, but somewhere in the region of 14 grand for this and 19 grand for the other car. Which car would you rather have? Now the other car, considering the mileage, is so tidy, so I think if you're looking at buying a higher mileage C63 AMG, they seem to wear really well inside. Both of these cars are very tidy as far as wear is concerned. So I don't actually know which car I would rather buy. Would I rather have this and 5 grand, or would I rather have that and be skinned? I don't know. Bottom line is, I was massively impressed with this car, like how it performs. I love the fact that it's a saloon as well. I prefer the saloon seats. The fact that it's a pre-facelift would only bother me in pictures, but when you're sat in the driver's seat, it don't bloody matter. And then if you go to the coupe, do you know what? When you're sat in that car, it is a lovely place to be. The steering wheel, the dash. There's a dog on the road. Where's this dog come from? Village life, guys. I grew up in a town. Now I'm out in a village. It looks like the dog's got some heroes. Is it your dog? That's random, isn't it?
No, we'll follow it that way.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, well done, yeah. Sidetracked by the dog. What was I saying? Can't remember what I was saying. I was talking about what would I rather have, yeah, that's what I was saying, when you sat in the driver's seat of that car, it's beautiful. And I don't know, through most people's eyes, is a coupe more attractive than a saloon? I don't know. I think these saloons look amazing. I like the sort of grilled effect on the front bumper on the pre-facelift cars. I think that looks quite aggressive. And I don't know. I think it's going to spark some good discussion in the comments below. But one thing I do know is that if I was to buy one of these cars, and driving these two cars today has really got me thinking, the perfect all-rounder for me, I think, is an estate car with that engine under the bonnet, with these seats. And I think for me, I would personally go for an estate C63 AMG, because I think they look the part, they're practical, it's got the engine under the bonnet, it's got these, just does it all, doesn't it? So that is a car that I will get my hands on at some point in time. The high mileage thing, like I always say, spend a bit more money. If it ain't for you getting a high mileage car, spend a bit more money and get yourself a lower mileage car. But listen to that, I always say I quite like high mileage cars because they do represent such good value for money. Now, I think this is that little crackle there. I will now end it here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you like this video. If you're about to buy a C63 AMG, I hope that during this video you learned a bit, you took from this video, and I've helped you conclude what you're about to do when you buy a C63 AMG. So if you're my overall opinion, I absolutely love these cars, love them. Just go out and bloody treat yourself, because despite the fuel economy, this one has the fuel light on, by the way. It's going to run out quite soon. But yeah, despite the fuel economy, it is one of the best driving experiences you will ever have in your life, all right? So yeah, just as I was outroing it, I thought I'd throw that in there. Yeah, hit like if you like this video, hit subscribe for a new video every Wednesday and Sunday at 6 o'clock. And if you're on Instagram, give me a follow on Instagram at Calvin's Car Diary. And I am now also on TikTok. Give me a follow on TikTok at Calvin's Car Diary if you're on there. It's quite a bloody addictive app. Try not to spend too much time on there because it will have you hooked, especially on my page. Go and check that out. I'll put a link for that in the description below, and I'll see you in my next video, alright? Bye. In the next episode of Diary of a Car Trader, so basically I've bought another AMG, but the big question is, will it be replacing my BMW M4 CS? Find out on Wednesday at 6 o'clock.